Intros are for YouTubers with an audience, and today we're doing something just a little bit different. You see, as sad as this may be to admit, live on mic, live on air, I kind of grew up on YouTube. I was probably watching since, like, just as it turned the decade into the 2010s of YouTube. So I grew up on sort of Machinima and Machinima Respawn and Machinima Realm and all of that sort of stuff. And YouTube, I feel like I was talking with a friend of mine. I know, crazy to believe that I have friends. But I was talking with a friend of mine literally yesterday, and he was pretty much saying he doesn't want to do YouTube anymore because he feels like the space has changed too much. And whilst I didn't ask him to elaborate, because I hate the sound of his voice, of course, love you, RK. But I kind of agree to some extent. And old school YouTube, what I grew up on was, in the gaming space anyway, it was predominantly filled with this sort of style of video. There would just be some footage of the game that was popular at the time, that in this case being Black Ops. And I can only play Black Ops Zombies, by the way, because the fucking servers are down. And yes, I know you're going to leave a comment and tell me, oh, but you could mod it and get multiplayer. I don't care, okay? Also, I need to preface, I haven't played Black Ops in about 14 years. So this footage is absolutely awful. I sucked penis at this game now, apparently. You know, it's like if you went to an old folks home and you found a veteran, you dropped him right in the middle of Ukraine right now. He knows what he wants to do, he just can't do it anymore. The muscle memory ain't there anymore. Okay, so like, yes, you could shit on me, and I know you probably will, but I deserve it, okay? I'm 14 years out of practice. But anyway, yeah, I grew up on YouTube, so the old style of video pretty much used to be whatever game was popular at the time, you'd record a really good match that you had in the multiplayer lobbies, and then you would talk, you would make a post-commentary video where you would pretty much just yap. It was like mini podcasts that would be anywhere from 5 minutes to 15 minutes long, and that was kind of the standard on Respawn anyway. Which was my preferred machinima of choice, I know. I'm such a man of delicate and fine taste. But this was sort of the standard of videos back in the day. And I remember I had made a video just like this one. Probably back in 2012 when I would have been about 14 years old. 14 to 13 years old. And back then, YouTube wasn't really a cool thing to do. It was kind of the gourmet thing. It was what the quiet kids did, you know, rather than shoot up. I'm not going to continue where this is going, but you know what I mean. We would make YouTube commentaries on Call of Duty instead. But it got me thinking after talking with my friend. Is there really a place for this sort of content on YouTube anymore? Like, has YouTube really changed that much that this content just doesn't belong on the platform anymore? Because now, it very much feels like whenever you go on YouTube and you look at the big people on YouTube, it's all so high budget, high production value, and it feels almost too corporate, almost too much like TV. And like, I can rack off a couple of names here. Mr. Beast, for example, incredible budget, you know, seemingly infinite pockets. I don't know where he pays taxes, but it must not be a lot. But it seems like everything now just needs to one-up everybody else to stand above the crowd. And don't get me wrong, old school YouTube wasn't a case of if you made one, you made it. Like, it was still a lot of luck back then, as it still is today. But it wasn't nearly as dominated, or like, the space wasn't nearly as crowded as it is today. Especially in like gaming videos. But having one of my friends who's pretty much his dream has always been to be a YouTuber, pretty much hang up that hat because he feels like the space just isn't what it used to be. I'm sure it's just a case if he's an old man and he's just being cranky and a bit, you know, a bit too full of nostalgia. And he's also just a lazy bastard. But I personally think that there is still a place for this kind of content on YouTube. It might not be the front runner of content. You might not be the most famous person on the platform because you make post-commentary videos on you know, League of Legends games or Call of Duty games or Counter-Strike games or RuneScape, you know, like, I don't think that it's popular enough to keep people's attention. But it's an interesting thing to think about because realistically, something that's very popular now in the current age, the current digital age, is podcasts, right? And realistically, these post commentaries were just one-man podcasts, right? For back in the day. But you had a visual to go along with it. It wasn't just people sat on a couch yapping away. It was... It's almost like what TikTok does now. You hear people talking at the top of your screen, but on the bottom you have Subway Surfers, and your little, like, brain-rotted mind is, you know, you're just dribbling watching the fucking Subway Surfers whilst two fucking people are yapping on about politics, right? That's kind of what old school gaming YouTube was. And obviously how-to videos and montages, you know, FaZe Clan, Optical, all that shit. But, like, to drop some OG names here, you know, you had Mr. Sark, you had, you know, C-Nanners, Hutch, APL, Only Use Me Blade, a bunch of others who I'm sure I'm forgetting, you know, Mr. Grizz, White Boy 7th Street, you know, all of these people, they were pretty much just hosting one-man podcasts with just, like, food for your eyes at the same time. And whilst a lot of the commentaries would talk about the game in particular, there was also a lot more of a personal vibe to some of the commentators, C-Nanners in particular, from my memory. I might be completely wrong, by the way. I haven't fact-checked any of this. I haven't gone back and watched all the C-Nanners videos. I'm just living my memories. And having verbal diarrhea on the internet for everyone to judge me for. But that was sort of the scape back then, and it was popular. Like, pretty much Machinima Respawn was just full of post-commentary videos, and they got, you know, people were eating that shit up. They were eating good, motherfucker. They went to an all-you-can-eat buffet for £15, no time limit, no, you know, have as many plates as you can want, brother. And it was good. Life was good back then. Oh man, I'm starting to sound like an old nostalgic bastard now as well. But it's just interesting because I feel like, me and my friend disagree about this, but I feel like YouTube is kind of doing a bit of a 180 at the moment. I feel like this type of content belongs now more so than it did back then, because these are just long-form TikToks, right? Like I was saying before, this is just Subway Surfers for your eyes whilst I yap in the background. This is just a long-form TikTok video. TikTok! Jesus fucking Christ, I sound like a newscaster who's never been on the internet. But this sort of content is what's consumed a lot at the moment. It's just too long, I suppose. But yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. I just wanted to get some other people's opinions. And also, I just wanted to make this video and sort of throw it off a cliff and see if it rolled and caught any traction as it went, you know? I wanted to see if this small snowball amalgamated into a catastrophic, life-ending, village, flattening, big snowball. That's pretty much it. But yeah, I'm like... I know a lot of my audience, I'm not too sure on this channel to be fair, but on the main channel, I know a lot of my audience is a wee bit younger than I am. AKA, I pretty much am double the age of most of my viewers, which is a disgusting thing to think about and say out loud. But I'm just curious about what the younger generation sort of thinks, because you most likely didn't grow up with old school Machinima. You most likely didn't grow up with post commentaries or live commentaries, which is the standard now, is people playing the game and talking with a webcam on, sort of what I do. But that was a rare occurrence back in the day. Mainly because of probably technical issues, you know, you had to have capture cards back in the day. You had your old Dazzle capture cards, your old Hapag HD PVRs, you know, your Roxio game captures, all that sort of shit, and it was too difficult to like sync up everything and get it to work, whereas now you just have OBS, you plug it in, you hit go, and it works. But I just kind of wanted to get other people's opinions. Do you think this type of content has a place on this platform anymore, or is it just too lazy, you know, leave it in the past? But that's the end of the game. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll catch you later. Have a good day.